Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Podim DX Lobby program. For those of you who just joined us now, we have a long day behind us. So we started at noon, and then we have more than 6 hours of demo day. And we have some exciting news to share later in this program, and also some really great guests. So be ready to get to be the first that will know and find out who will be the 10 semi-finalists who will proceed in the next round of Podim pitching competition. And also, to get to know what will be the exciting program that is awaiting for us at the end of this first pre-conference day of this year's Podim DX conference. Diane, how are you feeling in our studio? So more than half day here?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very exciting day, indeed. We started this morning with how many startups? 160, I believe, pitching. And we are soon down to 10. So in less than an hour, I think we'll find out who's going to proceed in the semifinals. It's been a long day. I think we look a bit tired, but still excited for what is to come.
I don't think we look tired, right?
No?
But
okay.
I think...
well, the makeup did wonders.
Yeah, the audience will decide on that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, but since we are basically, counting down, so from, more than 100, companies that pitching to down to semifinalists, we have, really exciting guests, and it's great to have you with us, Mattia. Mattia, hi. All right, it would be great to have some sound here in the studio so I can hear Mattia. Mattia is the last year winner of the Podim pitching competition. So more than a year from last year, I'm sure there's been a lot of happening in your great company. So tell me, Mattia, how is life, how is business, and for start, super great to see you again.
Thank you. Great to see you as well. Well, life is crazy, but that's always good when you're in a startup. We were basically hustling at the stage when we won Podim a year ago. And now all the founders are working full-time on the product. We have 12 people in the team. And we are really growing in terms of recurring revenue and logos. So it's been an amazing journey for us. And I think the fact that the judges from Podim, at that time maybe believed in us more than we did believe in ourselves. And then we really thought, maybe we should also start believing in ourselves as much as these smart people do. So everything started rolling down the hill, and we started running after Farseer after Podim last year.
So was this like the additional boost in your, so you shifted in the higher gear after the Podim, the winning in Podim?
Definitely, yeah. A lot of things coincided. We were really working a lot on the product in the era of the lockdown because we couldn't do much business development and much customer development. And then when Podim kind of launched us, we were even directly noticed by one corporate client through the Podim, so we have a clear ROI. But everything else really coincided, and it ended up being an amazing year for us. This year zero, actually, the 2020, and 2021 looks even better from now.
Okay, for those of you who are not familiar with your amazing product, tell us what you actually do, which problem do you solve. So can we have your 30-second pitch?
Sure. Farseer basically tells companies the future of their finance. And we replace the legacy way of doing things, which are tens or hundreds of sheets or documents that are stitched together and full of visible or invisible errors with complete lack of process and control. And we put it all in one holistic financial model, which offers data integrity, but also advanced features such as predictive analytics. So that's the sum of it all.
And you are targeting at so SMEs or even bigger companies?
Well, basically, we have Farseer already implemented in companies of various sizes, which I think speaks well of the universality of the tool because it's a no-code platform and we solve different types of financial problems. So we really work from companies that are startups and that came to us through the web, and we help them with their cash flow and their runway planning and analytics and plans for investors, to one of the biggest Croatian telecoms that we just signed a pilot project with. But basically our sweet spot are companies that are overgrowing spreadsheets. So companies that already have 5 or more people in the financial modeling and planning processes and have a lot of manual work that goes into that.
Matja, it's also great to meet you, and congratulations for last year award, and thanks for joining us today. We were just talking about actually some of the startups that are about to pitch in the semi-finals tomorrow and then in the finals the day after. Do you have any suggestions or tips for some of them that are about to present in the next few days?
Yeah, I've written on the Podim wall today. I said that they have to be really to the point and extremely clear. So it's better to take out 2 or 3 slides than to try to explain everything in 3 minutes. What I've learned is that it helps to try to speak like Donald Trump. So really to get to the core of the message, the style, maybe not the content, but the style has to be very sharp and very, tempo. I mean, you cannot change the product that you have and the team that you have, but you can change the way that you present it to the world. And there are a lot of great teams and a lot of great ideas, but they also need to find some ways how to present it properly to the people who are hearing it for the first time. So simplifying and explaining it in a way that anybody can understand is always good. You can always complicate it in the questions zone.
and to give everyone a bit of a dose of motivation to say, obviously, of what happened over the last 12 months. Some startups have been more impacted than others. Some had to pivot. I think you just mentioned that the last year was a great year for yourself and for your startup. As a founder, as a female founder as well, what would you say to other CEOs of startups that have been kind of venturing this last 12 months journey, and also ahead of the pitching competition as well?
Well, you definitely need to take care of your runway. So don't stick to ideas that are clearly, not working. So try to increase or maximize the learning. That's the core point in the pre-revenue stage. So you need to do experiments with a clear goal, test it out, and go back to the drawing board in case it's not working. So that's the only way how you can find product market fit. So keep iterating, keep experimenting until you find something that your customers are pulling you into, and not necessarily you're pushing a product towards them. So that's sort of the approach that we were taking.
Anything to also kind of take some of the pressure off, perhaps? What helped you actually over the last 12 months? I guess just to remain sane, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think we should take it so seriously. We're not neurosurgeons, so nobody will be dead if we fail on something. So it's crucial to have fun. It's not only about the goal, the big exit and sailing forever after you're 45 or whatever. It's about the journey. So you have to enjoy every step of the way and smile and relax, but give it your all as well. So that's the way to maintain your sanity, I guess.
Enjoy the moment.
You're a really positive person, Matja. You also have some great, personal events around last year's Podim, if I remember correctly, right?
Ooh, yeah. I just gave birth a few months to my first child, a few months before the finals. Thank you. So it was really the craziest year of my life. It was the craziest years of most people's lives. But these were 2 big events, like founding a startup and having your first child in the year of global pandemics was a hoot. So,
and now
you
you increased your team, you increased the MRR So you have a official certificate for being a superwoman. So congrats on that.
1984, yeah, makes sense.
So tell me, Matthias, so from demo day and becoming like a semi-finalist, right? Do you remember maybe, did you make any adjustments from Monday to Tuesday last year when you find out that you're in the semifinals? Did you fine-tune your presentation with any feedback from the jury and investors? So, or did you just keep everything as it was and just what did you exactly do? So what would be your kind of a tip for those 10 companies that they get to know today that they are pitching tomorrow in semifinals?
Well, I simplified the pitch quite a lot. It started out being a little bit more elaborate, and then with time it became really simple. So I think that was a good thing. And I trained a bit more so I could control my voice and my body language instead of thinking about what the next slide is. I didn't learn it by heart, but I knew enough that I can just naturally speak. So those were the two biggest changes, I would say, compared to the semifinals.
Okay, and what about from the semifinals to finals?
Same. Just cutting out stuff. You really want to say everything, but you need to focus on few key messages, because in the end, the people that are the judges will remember a few key things and how they felt while they were listening to your pitch. So your voice and the way that your tempo and accentuate certain sentences is extremely important. And I think people don't take care of that enough. Because if you talk like this and you're constantly just talking like this, you can have $1 billion idea, but nobody cares, right? So that's something that you really need to work on.
How did you, since you are like a B2B product, so how did you, survive this last year? It was, especially for B2B industry, kind of a challenging because, there were no live meetings, selling your software to the companies. Do you have any tips on on that? So B2B sales.
With the risk of sounding cheesy, every threat is an opportunity. So we started pitching to companies that are not in Croatia. So that's immediately a bigger market. Not everybody expects anymore that you will appear to the first meeting, and that's a great thing for startups, and that's a big plus. And as for the B2B, and especially for our domain of financial planning and analytics, I think a lot of companies that didn't have their processes and numbers in order started to think about getting it in order, because it's really vital to know your key financial KPIs in times like this.
Fantastic. So you seized this opportunity. Congrats again on that. Maybe just last question. What are now the plans when we will invite you and have a similar chat next year on Podim? Where will be your company? So you will increase your employee number to 30, 50, 100?
Well, we care about the number of happy customers the most. So I don't think we will explode, but we do expect to double in revenue at least next year, if not triple. So we're going towards 1 million ARR, and we will see 2022 or 2023. But that's our, let's say, near future goal, and certainly international expansion. That is our goal.
And since the world become really flat and without borders now in this online world that actually was so much accelerated by the pandemic, is it now easier or harder to go abroad and really penetrate the foreign markets?
I would say easier. You really need to take care of what kind of companies you target, but for fast companies that grow and that are used to relationships like this, for them it's fine. If you will get the job done, they don't care if you're in Nicaragua or in the US. You just need to find them.
And Mattia, I hope you can stay with us, obviously, for the next couple of days. Is there something in particular you're looking forward to at Podim this year?
Well, tomorrow I have 15 calls with potential investors, so I'm really looking forward to
That's
that.
definitely something quite exciting about that, yes.
Yeah, I guess that's the day in the life of last year's Podim winner. So that's also a good motivation for the people competing for the winner status.
Mattia,
I'm
let
looking
us
forward
know.
to seeing you all physically live, hopefully next year. That I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, likewise. And, Mattia, let us know if you close the investment round the next day. So, we will make a special announcement for that.
Okay, good.
Keeping fingers crossed for, all the great meetings in the Podim and also for all the plans that you have. Really, congrats for your achievements. Great to have you here. And really, thanks again for being our guest today.
Best of luck.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
So now we will go to our great, demo day headquarters. I'm sure that there's like a super nervous atmosphere. Everyone is like super excited and, double checking all the numbers. So what do you think? What is happening there?
Well, I think obviously the pressure is pretty high. How much time do we have? We've got less than half an hour until we announce the 10 startups. I think people just want to hear from them, to be honest.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Hi, Valentina.
Hi.
Yeah, you just first appear on the screen, so Valentina, I just saw your happy face. What does it mean, So you're happy
People
it's
are
over,
happy.
you enjoy it. Tell me a little bit, what is behind that smiley, positive face?
First of all, I'm glad that it's over, but it was a very exciting day. We had many startups, many great pitches, a lot of questions, but I would like to thank the incredible jury because they did a wonderful job. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Right, so you keeping the fingers crossed, so one of your semi-finalists made it to the finals, right, on Wednesday?
Of course.
All right, great. So thanks for really, great job, Valentina, as the moderator. I know you're fantastic. Thanks again for all the effort. And now moving to the next lady, Anna-Marie. Anna-Marie?
Hello.
You're also smiling, so really great to see you. It's such a smiley face. How was your day?
It was great. I must say that it was a very great opportunity to learn and get to know so many interesting startups. I was
so did you have
excited.
any challenges worth mentioning?
Actually, I think we didn't have. They were all very prepared, and also the jury members were on time, and they were helping us, and they were asking questions. It was very good.
Anna-Marie, you look so fresh. You look so relaxed, just like you came from...
It looks like you want to do it again.
Yeah, it just looks like you came from a walk in a park, no stress, really, that's fantastic. So let's see if Nomi is in the same shape as you are. Nomi, all
Hi,
right.
everyone.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you? Well, I'm fine. I'm still excited from the pitches. It was a marathon. Our members of the jury told me in the end that it was really a marathon of pitches and everything, but it went great. And I think we're all really happy with the results and with the startups that were here today on Podim.
So since it was only a marathon, maybe we can do a super marathon next year, right? So we can stretch it to 12 hours. What do you think?
Well, I think we can try.
With such a great moderators on board, everything is possible. So thanks also to you, Nomi, for being such a great host again.
Thank you. Thank you, Roman and Diane. Thank you.
Ladies, you have your word, and now moving to Peter.
Let's see Peter.
Hello. How you doing? How's it going? How's your day been, I wonder? How's your day been over there?
It's marvelous, like flawless, to be honest.
I mean,
Flawless. Well, you two are looking very relaxed. How many 160 big ideas throughout the day, jury members' questions. It's been rock and roll behind the scenes, but we've all made it. And as you can see, the girls are looking a lot better than I am right now. But it's been a really effective
glowing,
and productive
Peter.
day. I'm glowing because I've got a massive light in front of me. That is why I am glowing.
So it was more demanding as you expected, or it was like a walk in a park for you?
Well, listen, 6 hours on the trot, going through 30 big ideas, listening, evaluating, and trying to make sense and navigating and keeping everything together is never a walk in the park. But hey, the team here are fantastic. I really have to take my hat off to the team, all behind the scenes that have been making sure everything works, like clockwork. And it really makes my job and the other moderators' jobs a lot easier and a lot smoother. So a good backup team makes all the difference, and I think the other ladies here with me right now will completely agree with me.
That's why we look so fresh, Peter.
Yeah, I know.
Did you have any startups in particular that you liked, or any ideas worth mentioning?
I'm not gonna call them out right now, but yeah, there were lots that were very intriguing, lots that kind of sparked my curiosity, and a lot of others as well. There were others that maybe the ideas were not perhaps too advanced, but the way they delivered their ideas, the way that they made us feel, like we heard earlier on, making it how we feel about something and how that emotion affects us makes us remember things. And so you asked me that question now. I often remember the things, the startups and the ideas and the people that made me feel something. So yeah, it was. I wouldn't say it was the good, bad, and the ugly. It was kind of good, really good, and kind of in between those two.
That was a diplomatic answer, right? Diplomatic answer. You're a total pro. So tell me, Peter, I was also listening to the demo day pitches, and there was a company that didn't have any slide deck, all right? And first I thought that this is kind of a disadvantage, but at the end I think it was like a kind of a super advantage, because they were so different from all the others, right? And this is what we are basically talking about. So how to be different basically from so many companies and stay in top of your mind, right? What would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I think again, today is a prime example of how we have to stand out, how we have to how people have to remember us for whatever reason. That may mean the sound of our voice, that may mean the tone, that may mean how we kind of stopped and paused and let them think about the idea that meant something to them. That may mean that we didn't have a slide deck that we were concentrated on all the time when we were concentrated on them. That may mean just the way they moved, the gestures they used to get their messages across. So certainly online, in a virtual setting, our attention spans are so much shorter. So we kind of here in this environment, we have to kind of amplify all those signals. So going back to the gentleman who didn't use a slide deck, I think the reason was he couldn't access it. He couldn't get it to work. And he was on the fence whether he should go ahead or not. I said to him, listen, you won't get another chance, simply. And he said, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do it. He did it, and he did it without the slide deck. And he did it. I'm sure he shared his messages in the same way. His confidence grew as he was doing it. And to be fair, I think it actually made more of an impact than if he actually had the slide deck, because people were focused on him. They were focused on what he was saying, and he was more focused on making sure his messages were coming out in the right way. So yeah, it's really important to do things, to come across and deliver in a way that people are going to remember you and feel something.
Peter, surely this is not the first time you're hearing the startups speaking, and you've heard other conferences as well before. Looking back at the last few years, would you say that the startups are getting better at pitching? I've heard a lot of Central Eastern European startups, founders pitching. I've heard a lot from the Western countries as well. I think overall my sense is that we are definitely getting better at articulating that commercial business idea actually to the public. What do you think?
Absolutely. Listen, as time goes on, if we go back 5-10 years ago, there's certainly more information out there. There are more pitch coaches just like me helping founders, helping people to really, craft and deliver those messages in the right way. We're all kind of, I think, again, in the last 5, 6, 7 years, we all realize that, again, the point I heard earlier on, getting straight to the point. People don't really care. People don't really care about you. They just really care about what you're sharing and the value it's going to bring them, right? So really getting to the point, cutting out the fluff. And actually, it was something that I noticed quite a lot today in terms of speed, right? 3 minutes. So 3 minutes for many is quite a long time, right? It could feel like 3 hours, right, to do a pitch. But for others, bang, it can go very, very quickly indeed. So those 3 minutes have really got to be, you've got to use those, to your advantage. So often today, I did hear there was a lot of information pushed in to that 3 minute bracket, right? Better just to look at that and say, what are the things that really matter? What are the things that are going to get people to feel like they're curious about what you're doing or what you're sharing and the value? All you need them to say to themselves is, I kind of like that. That seems like something I'd like to maybe have a chat with them about. Because all it does is lead them to a conversation. You don't have to share everything, but all the kind of best bits. It's simply like me kind of coming here and saying, boom, 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 bang, bang, bang. This is great. This is why it's great. This is how it's going to help you, and not give you everything and then just stand back and then let you kind of figure out, I'd like to know more. I'd like to know more. So you can take out so much and just leave in the things that get people to feel something, the things that get people to say to themselves, I'm curious about that and I'd like to know more.
I think to me, it really comes down to, is your company desirable, feasible, and viable? It's 3 simple questions, but then in 3 minutes, it could be a hard job to do.
For each of those 3 things, 1 minute, it's really simple.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a straight ratio, but...
Yeah, often at the beginning, really at the beginning is a really important moment, because this is the moment we're being judged the most. Judgments about who we are, how we sound, how we look, how our hair is brushed or not brushed, the glow we have, the lovely smiles, as you've seen earlier on the other moderator's face, is better than mine. So we're getting judged straight away. So during that first 60 seconds, even a little bit further, we've got to kind of create this feeling of getting people to listen to us, getting people to start to feel about really about the problem, really about the frustration, getting people to feel that and wonder about that and agree with that, right? And once you get them there, then it's so much easier to then give them a solution. The more we listen to a frustration and understand the frustration and agree with that frustration, once we're there, we're always in a place where we really want to know what the solution is. So if you haven't given that frustration, the information about the frustration and the pain points and why it's a problem and why people feel it's a problem, and getting your audience to agree with you, then it's so much more difficult for them to really understand a solution. So really focus on that, on the frustration, the pain points, and get people to feel that. And even if that means taking a little bit more time, then it's so much easier then to give them what they really want, which is the solution, right?
So you're talking about there's no second chance to make a good first impression, right? And what are your tips as a speaker coaching and speaker's expert? And coach, how basically to start in the online pitch that it will really like take off like in a perfect way, because it's so complex. So it's Zoom, the camera, you have to unmute, share your screen, everybody's watching, right? You are super nervous. So how to basically do this? What are the steps in order to really make like a really fantastic first impression?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting question, and the answer to that I can't give you in just like 5 minutes, right? Because there's so many different things.
You got six.
I've got 6 minutes. Well, still not enough. Still not enough. But here's the thing: always remember, and anybody who's watched a pitch will agree with me with this one. And even if you've pitched before, you can fully understand this. How you feel, what's going on up here, what your body is doing. How your mind is, the stories and the thoughts in your head when you pitch or just before they come out. People can feel that. People can feel how you're feeling. So naturally, it makes sense to say to yourself, well, I've got to feel, if I'm feeling good, if I'm feeling relaxed, if I'm feeling calm, and if I'm feeling focused, everything else is going to kind of work its way in a natural way. Now, the question is, how do you get to that stage? One of the ways is certainly, it's certainly practice. The more you do it, the more you'll get comfortable and it becomes even more familiar to you. Another way naturally is the breath, is the breathing that goes inside and then comes out, in, out, in, out. That pings to the brain every time and it starts to calm you down. So just remember, your state will completely affect how you're perceived. Like you said earlier on, first impressions last. It is possible to change it because we've all met somebody that maybe we didn't like in the beginning, or we had a negative opinion of. But in fact, when we met them, actually got to know them, our opinions slightly changed, and maybe even best buddies, right? But usually that doesn't happen. That's the potential of that happening is very small. So we really have to, make sure we come across in a positive, good way. So think again, another idea that I often share with my clients certainly is just think to yourself, you're about to share this secret, because that's what it is. It's a secret, and a secret is often something cool, isn't it? Secrets are not like bad secrets. Well, they could be, but most of the time it's something cool, something good. And you're just about to share that, let's say with a friend, just about to share a really cool secret, even a sexy secret that you're about, or gossip you're about to share with somebody, right? Just having that in your mind will get you to feel, and you will look like you're about to share something cool, right? See it as an opportunity. So everybody pitching tomorrow, those 10 finalists, whoever you are, right? Think to yourself, okay, I've made it through today. Tomorrow is another step, and I've got to be feeling good. I've got to be feeling like I've got, something cool to share. And it must be cool to share if you've made it to the semi-final already, right? Feeling that way will certainly make others feel the same way as you. So these are just a couple of things. Another quick thing, quick one. Something I noticed today that actually others noticed as well when I mentioned it to them is that the startups, that the founders that kind of did quite well, certainly in this track, incidentally, were standing up. Isn't that strange? Standing up. Now, there's a reason for that. It's connected, certainly connected. As you can see, I'm standing, right? So standing up gives you this completely different energy than sitting down. That doesn't mean every time you're on a virtual call or an intro call or a chat with a potential client, for example, that you have to stand up. But when it's something important and something that actually means something, and people are really judging you how you sound and how you come across, standing up can make all the difference. So if you're a startup who's in the semi-final tomorrow, think about this. Think about standing up, okay? Getting it level, getting your camera level to eye height here, same as this. Getting to a position where you can put your legs down on the floor, but your upper body, they can see what your hands are doing, looking at the camera. Already, your energy through your body is different and more energized, and it will start to reduce that anxiety as well, because you're standing. Also, the great thing about this as well is, to somebody else, if you're selling something or trying to present yourself or trying to get people to think differently, just by standing up, you're almost saying to them, I take this seriously. I take this, not that you don't take it seriously if you sit down, but it's just a signal, a subconscious signal that we take in when somebody stands up. Okay, think about it. It could work.
I personally like doing jumping jacks. If something serious is about to happen, keeps you fit, blood to your brain. It really helps. I'm kidding. It's just don't do jumping jacks before the pitch.
Okay.
So
before you join us, we chatted with Matja, the last year's winner of a pitching competition, and she mentioned that she basically from the demo day to semifinals, from semifinals to finals, she reduced the content on her slides, right? Reduce. Would be this also like a general advice based on what you saw today? Were there like slides, were there like too much content for those 3 minutes? So what would be your, let's say, advice? So imagine now the 10, semifinalists. They will know in a couple of minutes. They will be presenting tomorrow. So now it's like 7:30. They have only 10 hours in front of them. So what should they concentrate on? What should they do in order to be really prepared and to get them into the finals?
Okay, again, absolutely. There's great advice earlier on from what we heard. Definitely cutting down, taking out things that you really don't need. If it's something that's not bringing value to your idea, and it's not on the path of getting people to feel differently, or, as I say, bringing value to that idea, take it out. The idea of less is more really does affect the impact of a pitch, and certainly at stage like tomorrow and the final, really important. Because again, remember, what you're trying to do is get people to say to themselves, I kind of like that. That sounds good. And then believe in yourself that when you get to the question and answer stage, that is really where they ask those questions, where they really make up their mind, right? So judges today, I'm sure during that question and answer session, that is really probably where the majority of the time was given to actually making that final decision, right? So yeah, cutting things down completely. You'll start, as I mentioned earlier on, really getting us to really feel what that pain point is, whether it is for for the customer, for the client, and even if that client or customer is not the people you're talking to, they probably will know someone close to them that actually understands the same thing as well. Getting them to really feel about how it's going to affect them in the future as well. So certainly, the beginning, your end, the last thing they remember. So we've got this thing called the primacy and the recency effect. So things that happen at the beginning, we often remember, right? And if it's connected to emotion, we remember that very, very well, right? The first kiss, right? If I ask you, Urban, your first kiss, do you remember your first kiss? Probably.
Oh, of course.
Do you remember your last kiss?
You
Yes.
should have said no.
It wasn't a probably, yeah. Your wife won't be happy. Your wife won't be happy with that. But if I ask you to remember all the other kisses in between, probably won't remember many. I don't know, unless you've had just 2 kisses. I don't know. Anyway, that's for another day. That's for another podium. That's another webinar. But the thing is, we remember stuff that's actually right at the beginning because of the emotion that's connected to it, and it's because it's the first time. But even more at the end. So what we leave them with, what we get them, our call to action, sharing, letting them know, giving them the next steps, giving them an idea of how this how the future is going to change because of what you're providing. How your feelings are going to change towards something, a product or service, whatever it is, in the future, taking them to a place in the future that really gets them to think, I kind of really want to be in that future, or I can see myself in that future using that product, or enjoying that product or service. Yeah. So kind of a mixture of all those things, starting well and finishing well, definitely really, really important.
Thanks, Peter, for that. The only thing I mean, there are a lot of great advice, but what I'll basically take away from this is that you have to start and end the presentation with a kiss. So did I get it right?
Urban, are you offering to give me a kiss? I'm going to have to refuse. It's very kind of you. I'm flattered. However, this is neither the time or the place. But you never know.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Great having you. Looking forward for tomorrow. So semifinals will take place in Studio 2 from 10 to 12. So anyone who is eager to take a look and to listen to those 10 companies that made it from 121. So this is the official number, 121 companies pitched. There were 21 judges present and selecting them. So for those of you who really want to hear that, who those great companies are, feel free to join us tomorrow at 10 with great Peter. Thank you very much, Peter. I think you deserve a loud applause and also a great rest.
Looking forward to tomorrow. Can't wait. If everybody enjoyed it today, wherever they were, whether they were on the lobby, jumped in and out of any of the tracks, if you enjoyed it today, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it all again tomorrow and the next day. So I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to hearing who those 10 lucky and deserved startups are going to be.
Stay tuned. Thank you. So are we ready to,
announce?
Reveal?
No.
Yeah?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. I think maybe give it a few more minutes.
Okay, then let's wait. Tamara, can you just say to me how many minutes we should wait? Okay. Tamara said that we are ready. So and Nina is with us, Nina Dremel. Hi, Nina.
Hi, Urban.
You also look fresh. I can't believe. It was like a boring, easy afternoon or what?
No, for sure not. It was for sure not boring. It was also not easy, but to be honest, the startups are getting better and better every year. So it was quite surprisingly good presenting and good pitching event. 6 hours passed by like nothing. So here we are, fresh and full of energy.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Nina, it's great to have you here. We asked Peter the same question actually, but what was your most interesting startup, perhaps idea, or have you seen actually any patterns in terms of industry sectors, focus areas more at Podim this year compared to other editions?
Yeah, I must say that startups are more and more following trends. There's a lot of startups from energy sector, which is cool because this is now one of the pillars that are really important. Also, the mobility was really present. And on the other side, marketing solutions, not just classical apps and so on, but really niche marketing solutions that are actually, basic solutions for digital agencies or companies on the other side. So it's actually the majority of them are in trend, which is super cool. Some of them are totally exceptional, which is also super cool because they are addressing the totally different part of market. And I was quite surprised that diversity of startups was really wide. They were not just from Slovenia and Croatia or the region, but they were also from Spain and Italy and so on. So really, really cool.
And Nina, you mentioned some of them were energy or sustainability related. For anyone listening in, and also I'm actually particularly curious as well about Alta Capital, are you just investing in renewable energy or looking at SDGs more broadly? And what made you actually go into this sector? Because, you probably can tell us, but as an investor, this is quite challenging, how you actually measure the SDGs in the business model, even though it's a very exciting space. I think SDGs is valued like $1 trillion. It's still a lot of reluctancy from some investors to invest. So let's start with the first question. Is it just renewable energy or SDGs more broadly?
No, I would say it's much more broader. The point here is that in this sector, especially energy sector, the point is that you need to figure it out what the solution is about. Either this is just general SaaS solutions, so software, or is this something that is combined with hardware? In case this is combined with hardware, it means just that usually sales cycles are much longer. That's why that means also that for investor, it means that the period when you are inside the investment and the period when you can actually confront the exit, it's much more longer. But look, it's in trend. It's more about teams that are flexible, agile, and everything is doable. The most important is actually go-to-market strategy and entering to the market. And when you're on the market, then it's just about the business.
And just diving a bit more into what you actually do, because correct me if I'm wrong, you don't just invest in startups. You actually, exactly as you said, you do help with that strategy. You do help with the go-to-market strategy. Is that correct? Because I think that's something quite interesting for the startups to hear.
Yeah, actually, in my case, not just with Alita Capital, but also business angels, we're quite keen of hands-on approach, which means that we are in the way business developers of each case, trying to help each startup to develop as much as possible a good idea to be able to enter on the market if these startups are really idea stage or pre-MVP stage. But when they are actually ready and already on the market is on our side really important that we help them to scale, to use different strategies to help them with know-how, to help them with network, opening the doors, etc. So it's really not just about money, it's more about how you can add value.
Urban, do you think we have time for one more question before we announce the startups?
Yeah, I think we have. I think you have. So, Nina, investors is kind of hard to impress. That's basically my perception, because you see so many really exceptional founders pitching, presenting your ideas. Did you find any really exceptional?
Convincing.
Something like a diamond in the unbrushed diamond today in the demo day? Something that really impressed you and made you think, wow, this is really.
Yeah, actually I found one of them. May I say which one or not?
You can, of course.
Yeah, actually, they are from Bosnia and Herzegovina. They are dealing with also energy sector, but it's really software solution. And I was really impressed with the business model, with the attitude of the team, with the achievement they achieved. So really cool. And I was really pleased to see them, and I will also connect them. So, yeah.
So can we expect that you as a business angels or you as Alita Capital make an investment? So you'll text me in next 3 days and say, Urban, I have a special announcement.
That would be the fastest investment probably in history.
Break out the program. Come on, I want to be in the lobby and announce that we have made an investment.
Yeah, it's not just going to be the fastest investment, but the fastest due diligence. Yeah. Look, I believe there's going to be a lot of interest, not just from my side, but also from the other investors. But the point here is that, as Peter said before, you just need to do leave this first impression, which is really positive. Then all the other things will happen. It's a process. So the getting investment, it's a process. It's not easy job. I'm usually saying that it's a full-time job to get the investment, which is true. And how to impress investor, because you mentioned it before. In my opinion, it's all about team. Nevertheless, it sounds so cliche, but it's about team. So you need to convince investor that you are capable to achieve what you're presenting, that there will be ups and downs, but you are eager to achieve it. And this is actually the most important stuff, showing that you can succeed with your idea or project or company in general.
Fantastic. So we have to move on. And regarding the speed of investment today in the evening, we have a really great panel. How to make a really quick decisions. And Elizabeth Lin from US, she's known as the fastest decision maker in the among the investors, and she said, she promised that she replies to a startup in 48 hours. So 3 days are more than that. So this is like the benchmark now.
No pressure, Nina.
No pressure.
No pressure
So I think
at all.
we are ready to announce. So let's hear a drum roll and prepare the list, Nina, and let's see it. Drum roll.
So the 10 semi-finalists are, can I start? Or should we wait?
Please.
Let's wait for a minute because it's been more dramatic then. No, I'm kidding. So the first 10 of them, first of all, I congrats to all of them, but also to all the others because you were all really excellent. Pitching, it's not easy, so congrats to all. But 10 of them are much better. So those are Think Treasury Romania, ImageBet Switzerland, Moeco Logistics Solution Germany, Netical Media Intelligence Hungary, PubBlue Slovenia, Platform X Bosnia and Herzegovina, Price Hubble Switzerland, Tomapo Slovenia, X News 3.0 Concept Austria, and Zen Own Product Assistant Switzerland. Congrats to all.
Right,
congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you again, Nina, for the announcement. Yeah, big applause. Yeah, I see people. I can imagine 10 teams are now jumping to, in their, rooms or.
And I was actually following the countries, as well, you mentioned. And I think it's only been a couple of startups that came from the same country. But out of 10, 7 or 6 different, we had 6 different countries in the semifinals. I think that's quite exciting, covering the whole region.
Swiss was obviously the winner of, in the semi-finalist representations. Thank you, Nina.
Thank you.
Wish you a fruitful next 3 days. And again, you have my number, so call me if you made an investment.
For sure. For sure. You will be the first one that I will let know. No worries here.
Thanks. Great having you.
Thank you, Nina.
Bye.
Fantastic. So now we are moving actually to Vienna. Right, why to Vienna? We have someone there, and his Vienna studio. Is he already there? Hi, my friend.
Hello, how are you?
Very good.
I'm in a really great company, as you see, so I'm not complaining.
I can tell you have an amazing studio, and good to meet the two of you.
I like your studio as well. It's a very nice setup.
Yeah,
and we can hear you perfectly.
Thank you. That's the beauty of Podim. I said, look, it's very hard traveling. And Urban said, look, if you can't come to the studio, we'll bring the studio to you. So that's like the coolest thing ever. And the amazing team just gave me like a crack course of how to set up lights and sound and whatnot. So yeah, I've kind of upskilled the last couple of days as well, which is quite cool.
We have to think about having like remote conference, right? Just, from moving from town to town.
A decentralized event across the whole Europe.
On the blockchain,
just make sure that
of course.
Elon doesn't. Just make sure that Elon Musk doesn't listen. He goes like, decentralized, that's me. Let's disrupt that space.
So, Daniel, great to have you again, of course, with us. Super happy and, looking forward for the next 2 hours. So tell us, what exciting content, speakers, panels will we hear in next 2 hours?
So we're going to have the Founders All-Star Night, which doesn't just sound promising, but it is absolutely promising. We've got 2 action-packed panels, which you should certainly not miss. The first one is called Blue Chips, a gold mine for learning and business opportunities, hosted by Andres Tori. I think I don't need to announce him, but a serial entrepreneur who's done it all, exited, invested, and whatnot. He'll be hosting the first panel. And the second panel is going to be called Experiment, Validate, Optimize, and Repeat, hosted by none other than Rodrigo de Alvarenga. What an interesting name. What an interesting 2 panels. That's going to happen in the next 2 hours. Very much looking forward to it. And I believe at the end, we'll also meet again, Urban.
Are you having you looked at the, whole 3 days agenda? You'll be, moderating and hosting Studio One. Did you already pick any favorites, any, special parts that you are, super looking forward to, can't wait? Tell us, share us your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of amazing speakers, and what I always love so much about Podium is there's a lot of people that I meet for the first time, which I wasn't too aware of, and afterwards just end up having new great friends. So I'm very much looking forward to meeting new people I've never met before, and I've got some great memories after the last couple of years. However, how should I say, my nickname, my title is the Pitch Professor. So naturally, I'm really looking forward to the final pitches on Wednesday, because that's always like my personal favorite part. And yeah, very, very much looking forward to that. Yourself, what's your highlight?
Diane, ladies first.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
I thought just Urban, just points at me, and I was so excited. I was like, oh, you don't have to. You're just so nice. But then he's like, oh, okay, you go first. Well, I do have to confess, it's the networking, which I did mention this morning, so I'm still going to stick to that. But also the startups as well, because I think we just found out we have a huge variety of countries. Romania, I must say, was the first one on the list. So yeah, just a bit biased, obviously, representing, just country and.
As you would.
Of course, yeah. No startup from the UK, I'm afraid, this time. But no, just joke aside, I think we have great startups. I think we have a great variety, loads of different industries covered. I just had a look at my Podim app in between today, so loads of meetings as well. So I think there's going to be 2 packed days, and I also have to be with Urban here. So just multiplying myself. But yeah,
what do you mean you have
things.
to? You have to be with him. It's an honor being with him.
I know. No, it is. It is. It truly is.
Thanks. And my favorite part, I think it's tomorrow afternoon there, because there are so many exciting panels, founders. Of course, I'm also a big fan of technology, so I'm looking forward to the AR, VR thing. This is really like it gets my blood pumping. So really excited to see all the great program. And of course, there's so many. I mean, I always blame myself, for putting together such a diverse and great program and not being able to, get it all in real time, because there's so much happening. But I keep, repeating the same mistakes and from year to year. So
these are good mistakes.
It's a good mistake.
I think you can keep doing them.
That's perfectly fine. Do you sometimes rewatch the sessions like weeks and months later?
Sorry, didn't repeat.
Do you sometimes have the time then to rewatch some of the sessions you missed before, and then just kind of sit down like a month later on, get a good glass of wine, and just listen to the sessions you couldn't see?
Yeah, actually, this happens every year, because I don't really, get to enjoy all the sessions, because I'm, all around the virtual venue. I hope, next year I'll be not only in the virtual venue, but also in the Habakkuk venue. But yeah, I mean, I always look at the exciting content. Everything will be again this year available in the Podim library. So all of you that are afraid of
missing out.
But as you mentioned before, I'm not allowed to make too much of a marketing for the library, since people will then skip the live content.
True.
But anyway, so super great content. Everything packed in next 2 days. Deal room is opened. I think it's already like cracking, because it's there are so many meetings happening and booking and requests sent and everything. So super great. And yeah, I think we are out of time. Tamara is already shouting in my earplug. So Daniel,
thank you, Daniel.
Take it from here.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. Yeah, real pleasure seeing you, and I'm very much looking forward to kicking off the All-Star Night shortly. And I think without any further ado, I think we're just 1 minute away from launching the All-Star Night and launching the trail on it. I'm very much looking forward. If you have questions at home, just post away and ask them. And other than that, I think let's take it from here. Let's get going and move on. Let's roll the first video.
So now we'll move, the program will move to the Studio One, right? So everyone that is in the Attendify app, now it's time. If you want to see and participate in all the great program that is upcoming, see Daniel and both panels that are following, it's now time to switch, and click to the next, to the next stream. And while you are waiting for the great content to start, feel free to post any comments, pictures, impressions about the first day you have on this, and post it into the social wall we have in the Tandify app. This is also a great way to kind of, for a little bit self-marketing, tell us who you are, what you do, what or who are you looking for. So this is the main place where you can basically, present yourself, look for the customers. So, Podim and Tandify app offers you a lot of, different opportunities for networking. There are also, all of our partners are in there. Visit them on their virtual booths, talk with the, staff, ping other participants, chat with them. So it's a lot of opportunities there, and to really enjoy and to get all the content and all the, the value out of the conference. So did you check already the Podim app?
I have in between. I mean, I know you were very busy with the demo day, and then that's why maybe I look so fresh, because I was just on my tablet and just checking. People are just, all the comments are flowing in. I've actually seen quite a lot of people commenting on social media. So there's pictures shared. I looked at LinkedIn. There's stuff going on Facebook. I think if this was just the day before the conference, I think tomorrow is going to be completely packed. So we have a big day ahead of us.
Can't wait.
Me too.
The program in Studio One started, so let's move on.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Enjoy.
everyone. Yeah, see you tonight at 10 o'clock when everything closes. And yeah, we are now in the first rows of enjoying the program.
Enjoy.
See you.